A ginger Thursday morning to you and welcome to Ways Breakfast. Hashtag what are you saying? Happy International Men's Week live here at Upgrade TV. We are excited to be celebrating men, their impact, contribution to society, strength, and their resilience in life. Well, this morning we're going to be extremely analyzing what it means to be a man. But we will not do that as women. Obviously, we're going to have a man, talk to us on this topic. Well, to join this conversation and other amazing conversations that we always have here, you can tune in every Monday morning to Friday as we explore pressing discussions and inspiring stories. I am your one and only Okikiola Taiwo Jalupon, and I welcome you to the show, especially this Thursday. And as you know, I am never here alone. I have the best girls with me forever and ever. Amen. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
One
Hi.
and only Okikiola Jalupon. I love it.
They need to
I
know.
like that.
You get. Tushala, what's going on this morning? You're looking so bright.
It's
Oga
not even
wife.
Friday yet, and you're giving us the whole Owambe vibes.
It's like you can't wait for the weekend.
The weekend, my weekend will be very, very stressful. I have a lot of activities to cover this weekend, but then I think I'm good. I just like to talk about something I quickly saw this morning, and it was from like a devotion part. So it was talking about life is to be shared, and talked about, I wish God's bit is on his table. So it talked about how no single person can live this life alone. There's a reason why you are not complete. There's a reason why one of the things you are lacking is in someone else for us to complement each other, not in a romantic relationship or anything. But you cannot say you want to live alone, you don't have friends. It just doesn't work that way. You yourself, you are not perfect. You have a whole lot of flaws in which you have to take from someone else. So in one word, let's try as much as possible to share our life with someone today and start from we being generous to people, give to people, intentional. You know the person or you do not know the person. Maybe not give, but also care about someone else. Do not put too much pressure on maybe your colleague at work or everybody. That's my 2 cents this morning.
Well, this thing got me thinking, and this is something that I've never shared. Most of the time when I pray, when I'm done praying, I always pray to leave empty, like leave the earth empty. That means I've drained myself of the love I've given completely before I now go and meet, because I believe that there's abundance in the afterlife. So I want to leave empty. So when you were mentioning that, it also calls to people that there's relationships with people that you should value. It's not necessarily romantic.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just once you meet the person, but that impact that you have left with the person is very important.
This is an inspiring Thursday morning. I like to share what's also inspiring me. Can I do that?
Please do.
So I read this quote earlier this week that says that the biggest projects that you can ever have in this life is you. So as many times as possible, you need to restart, you need to refocus, you need to re-strategize, but never give up. And I know that the cliche word, don't give up, has been overused by people. You hear people say, don't give up, and you might feel like, this is overused, I'm tired, I won't give up, I won't do it again. But the truth is, if you look at it critically, you are actually your biggest project. And as many times as possible, there's no timeline or deadline to it. Keep restarting, keep refocusing, keep re-strategizing, and that goal that you eventually want to meet, you'd meet it.
Just to add one line to it, where you are at the moment is a prayer answered. You once prayed for it a couple months or weeks ago. So I appreciate where you are at the moment. The waiting room can be very, very difficult. Waiting for that thing to happen can be very, very difficult. But then just hold on. And like she said, the cliche word is do not give up. You really do not have a choice. Do not give up.
While we are talking about this, I feel like we have said it personally and we have given it to the general audience.
Yeah.
But what's that one thing you tell a man right now? One thing.
For a man right now, I'll tell him to, like I said, share. You cannot leave this world alone. Nobody said as a man you should bottle up. Only you pay light bill. Only you pay school fee. To the extent that it's starting to affect your own personal well-being, your personal. Please allow someone to share out of your burden. Share to people. That's what I would say. Share.
I'll say as a man, similar to what she has said, leverage on your relationship a lot. Your family, your friends, loved ones. Use relationship, not like in the bad way, but use them for yourself and you'll be fine, just like us.
That's just like us. Well, I would say to a man, keep being you. Like there's no other person, there's no woman that can be a man,
Yeah.
and there's no man that can be a woman. I would say that because I only know two genders, and that is man and woman. So I don't believe that any man can be a woman and any
Yeah.
woman can be a man. But do your best to be you and fill yourself up with all the positivity that you need to navigate life in general. But as we continue to navigate these complexities of modern society, it is essential to examine the roles and expectations placed on men. Traditional masculinity has long been associated with strength, courage, and dominance. But is this definition still relevant today? Is the definition of strength every time you say na man you be?
This is why I appreciate the fact that we are going to be joined by a man. I mean, when we say man, we're not talking about a Gen Z man,
give us from their
a
own point of
millennial
view.
man, so they can give us from their own perspective. And we females are not talking men conversations, you get? So I'll wait till the interview part.
Okay, thank you. What do you understand by traditional masculinity?
Can I mention a name to describe a traditional?
Please don't.
No,
Mention.
please.
No,
don't
We
shake
might need
tables.
to go on a break.
Don't shake tables.
So when I come
So that
back,
when
we
we
have
come
more
back,
balls.
thank you. But join me and the ladies this morning as we explore the limitations of traditional masculinity and its implications. We will go on a break right now, and when we come back, we'll first take you through the headlines across the globe. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to be talking about redefining traditional masculinity and empowering men. I don't know if I think so many times we've heard about empowering women, empowering men, empowering women, but now we're going to be talking about empowering men. We're going to talk about how men are emotionally suppressed. We're going to talk about how all these things lead to aggression, how it even impacts the society. We'll also discuss ways to redefine these norms and empower men to become better versions of themselves, from promoting self-awareness and healthy relationships, to challenging harmful stereotypes. We'll dive deep into the actionable steps towards this positive change. Later in the show, we'll be joined by a guest who will not only be telling us what it means to be a man, who will also help us to redefine, traditional masculinity, show us ways in which we can empower men as people, as women, as men, as the audiences. So first off, I will want to go to my ladies, but we will take the papers first, right?
Yeah, we'll take the
Yes,
papers.
let's go with the punch first. I think this morning we
Yes,
have the
please.
punch. Yes.
Yes, we do.
So
have.
quickly, going straight to the Punch newspaper, the major headline reads, Tinubu set to name envoys as ministry post consular officers. Underage consular officers deployed to embassies in Spain, Malaysia, Brazil. Others concerned raised over state of country's mission abroad. On the top corner of the Punch newspaper, bank chiefs lobby presidency over 1 trillion naira forex gain. On the page 19 of the Punch newspaper, troops hunt terrorists behind Borno soldiers killing. The last story from the top corner reads, PDP governors, National Working Committee meet in Jos, brainstorm on neck meeting. Then discuss lease conditions for 500 billion naira national capitalization plan. Bottom corner of the Punch newspaper has the story from Ondo State, which says Aiyedatiwa gets certificate. Court to decide PDP suit against deputy. Then court orders police to employ 22,000 constabularies. The last but one headline, US-based Nigerian jailed 6 years for 6 million naira bribery scam. And the last headline from the Punch newspaper reads, misconduct, NBA hacks Senate over sacking of CCT chairs. For more, back Senate, I take that story again. Misconduct, NBA back Senate over sacking of CCT chair. For more details, please go straight to the page of the Punch newspaper.
Please take us through the next paper.
Okay, the Nigerian Tribune has the major headline reading, we will be back, Northern candidate in 2027, says ACF, faults Tinubu's policies as they relate to Northern region. Senate removes Umar as CCT chairman. FAAC, federal government, state, local government, shares 1.41 trillion naira for October. FGGPC uncovers substandard sugar in market and warns consumers. WAEC bans 13 schools in Kogi for examination malpractice. Court orders IGP PSC to pay police constabularies 4-year salary arrears. Why Damagum met with PDP state chairman. No crisis in main opposition party, says Imo chairman. Tinubu sacks Nnamdi Azikiwe University VC, dissolves governance council. Federal government announces change to 4-year Kogi Varsity Governance Council. Federal government to appeal court judgment allowing seizure of $25 million over Ogun Trade Zone dispute. And the last story says NNPCL's Utapate crude grade hits global market, eyes 80,000 BPD.
That's wonderful. I don't know if anybody wants to take any story there, but because of time, I really want to hear from these guests. So we'll go straight to the Guardian newspaper. And the headline for the Guardian newspaper reads, Naira plunge stalls federal government. States capital projects spikes cuts by 75%. Below that, we have Senate sacks CCT's chairman, Danladi Umar. And another story reads, Disco's actions threatening economic stability, reps declare. PDP backs Damagum as LP, that's Labour Party mobilizes youth for 2027 showdown. It's wonderful that everybody's already preparing for 2027, but they're forgetting about 2025. But then that's another story for another day. And the last but not the least story here says, bills on diaspora voting, mineral exploration funding, skills second reading. If you want to get all the stories that we have mentioned here and want to read more, you can go through the Guardian newspaper, the Punch, and the Nigerian Tribune, get your papers and read something about them. But as we mentioned earlier, we're going to still be talking about the traditional roles of men and positive masculinity. We would come back with our guests talking about this topic. Stay with us.
Looking to take your business to the next level through partnerships? Then join us every Thursday at 10 a.m. for Partner Up.
Whether you're an entrepreneur, marketing, sales, or partnership professional, Partner Up is here to give you the tools you need to succeed.
From in-depth interviews with industry experts
to real-world case studies of successful partnership strategies that drive innovation and business growth.
we dive deep into what it takes to form successful partnerships.
Thursdays, 10 a.m.
Don't miss Partner Up.
Welcome back to the show. You should follow this conversation on at Official Upgrade TV on YouTube and all our social media, handles. If you want to tell us something, you want to comment, you want to encourage a man, you want to comment about traditional roles, you want to say something about positive masculinity, please go on our YouTube channel right now at Official Upgrade TV and start talking to us. Welcome back again. And this morning we'll be talking about, as I said, positive masculinity. It's not only about women. But first of all, how many of us know what traditional masculinity means, especially in a country like Nigeria? Let me take you through that. Positive masculinity in Nigeria is often is often associated with harmful norms and expectations, such as aggression, dominance, and emotional suppression. These norms can lead to negative consequences, including mental health issues, being predators, even down to aggression, emotional suppression, and religion. And you see, in a case where traditional masculinity is deeply ingrained in Nigerian culture and religion, making it challenging to challenge and change. Men are expected to be providers, protectors, and authority figures, perpetuating harmful norms. Limited understanding of the harm caused by toxic masculinity hinders efforts to redefine traditional roles. So even add that poverty, unemployment, and economic instability can reinforce these harmful masculine norms. Redefining traditional masculinity in Nigeria requires a collaborative effort. By challenging harmful norms and empowering men, we can create a more inclusive and equitable society. Joining us gracefully this morning is a management consultant and daddy of the house, Chief Captain Taiwo Jalupon Shakir Babi, born of Lagos parentage, attended Lagos Premier Day School, Storulere, Government Fleet Road, Lancashire, United Kingdom. He has a commendation award from the United States Department of State on terrorism intervention. He also has an excellent award of leadership from the Fight Against Corruption organization. And last but not the least, he is the High Chief Olorogun of Ogbere, Isolo Kingdom in Lagos State. He says he loves writing, poetry, current affairs, and nature. Thank you for joining us, Chief. Are you here? Good morning. You're muted. Can you unmute your mic, please? Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
daddy
morning.
of the house.
Good morning, Nogikiola.
Good morning.
Olushi is there. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
We also have Omatoshola here.
Beauty.
No,
Oh, no, Omatoshola, okay.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, she's there.
Yes, please. Good
Sorry,
morning.
Omatoshola. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
You are in God's beauty's
Corner.
I like that people are now getting to know.
Good morning.
Good morning,
everybody.
Good morning. I like that most of our guests and our audiences, can you hear me, sir? I like that most of our guests and audiences are now getting used to everybody's corner. So when somebody is not here, they can say that, where is this person? I like that. It means that you have been watching the show and you have been following our conversation. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes. So first off, I need to ask you, what does traditional masculinity mean to you?
Well, basically, I don't see the difference between traditional masculinity and modern masculinity. These are all blended. They are all blended together, and there's no boundary between these two concepts. And then between traditional masculinity and modern masculinity and natural masculinity, you also find out that there is really no defined boundaries between these many concepts. So I'll basically go back towards masculinity. So man or woman is our basic character, is nature and nurture. Our basic character is nature and nurture. And if we say it's nature, so whatever a man is inborn. A man is born as a man the day, he comes to the world. Let's forget about all these new the liberal democracies trying to push transgenderism and he, it, is and all the them and all that. into, the world today. But basically, man is defined from birth, and then as man grows up, the woman, molds who a man is. So when people talk about, even for toxic masculinity, and relatively good masculinity, most of the inputs into what a man becomes, comes from the female folk. So I'm not saying if a man is toxic, then blame the woman. No, that's not what I'm saying. But inadvertently, mothers, determine, what their male children would be. Is he helping in the kitchen from childhood? If he's not helping in the kitchen from childhood, marriage will not bring him to the kitchen. Is he helping to clean the house? Does he wash his own clothes? Or is it, a job for only his sisters? Is it the man of the house, even at 1 year old? You find some cultures where, because, he's a boy, from that day, he becomes somebody that's, treated. There is this arrogance in the upbringing, of our men by the women folk. What is allowed for the boy is not allowed for the girl.
Yeah.
So a lot of these issues, needs introversion. That we need to start looking inward, in defining what a traditional, a modern, a natural man should be, worldview, at least for the betterment, of the world. There is always positive, there is negative, but sometimes the negative, comes from the positive. A man, has a role in nature to protect. So if a man's nature is to protect, how do you give him that confidence, to be able to protect? The man is the guide, is a soldier in the house, is the one who is supposed to take a sword, is the one who is supposed to take a gun, if necessary, to protect the family. So that's why I say some negative, some positive. Out of those positive, there are negatives. Out of those negatives, because you prime him up to become, the guy, the protector. Is there arrogance? Is there violence? Does he, as a man, start to think, about his, purpose? Okay, if my purpose is to be this, is there a better way to do it? So traditional masculinity, if you look, in our societies, although it varies, there are some that, you say, okay, that's a man from that, that's a Caucasian, that's an African, that's an Asian, there's some varieties, maybe because of, background, the society they come from, how developed it is, education, and education does not even mean primary, secondary, and university. Education means from the father that bettered that, that man, what kind of education. Yoruba will say the father is the mirror, the mother is gold, father is the mirror. So that's education. There are a lot of people from, people with PhDs and, that are violent to women.
Yeah.
There are those who are, so it's either and if you don't also, assume masculinity as a man, you are deemed as a failure. I mean, you are not able to provide for the family for whatever reason, even if it's 1 meal a day of gari, I mean, that person is deemed to have lost masculinity. A roof, even if it's a thatched roof, that person in that society is deemed to have lost masculinity. If your wife, or your female partner is providing the food on the table and you are just home, doing nothing, if you don't have a farm, if you don't have a workplace to go to, so the traditional concept of masculinity is a modern concept and is a natural concept. So that is the way I see that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tyrell Jonathan. This has been a very extensive explanation of the term traditional masculinity. And also, I read and came across the fact that it's also characterized by stoicism. I mean, if we look around, so for you to say a man is, a traditional, or is exhibiting traditional masculinity, is that he has problems expressing or showing vulnerability. And vulnerability, even though at face value it seems like a very weak statement, but it's not entirely weak, because it's not bad for you to express, when you need help and to ask for help from people. But it seems as if that traditional masculinity is against any form of vulnerability. You have to always show that up. You have to always show that you're a man that can figure it out. And then we hear statements like, be a man. Of course, you just said, now man you be. And all this kind of statement that makes you wonder, I mean, I can't even show my weakness at any point. So I want to ask you, and I want it to be more practical. We've given a lot of theoretical explanations to this based on your experiences. Now, I want you to now tell me, have you ever struggled with expressing vulnerability, and how do you even navigate it so that younger men and young boys as well can learn from this?
Well, men do have vulnerabilities, and they express it, in many forms. Sub stories. Masculinity does not allow you, to go watch soft stories. Masculinity, you are deemed to be sissy, or shed a tear, maybe when watching some drama, that actually is emotional. But I assure you, men do it, in corners where, you will not see the teardrops. So as, vulnerability, we assume, people outside assume that, oh, the man is all iron, he has been brought up to, not to be able to express. But I do assure you, men do express, emotion, but because it's been ingrained that, it shouldn't be public. It shouldn't be public. It shouldn't be show. They do it in corners unseen. They do it in corners unseen. So men do appreciate vulnerability. They express it, but they don't do it with drama. Now that's different from, our women folk. There is different hormones, that drive each of us. The woman, estrogen, progesterone, those hormones are, hormones that are, tinged with drama, testosterone. I think testosterone is the one that basically you don't even feel pain. The more testosterone that runs in you, you don't feel pain. When a woman has, an average of testosterone that's higher, than what a female, naturally should harbor, you see them, they have manly traits, oh, she's ready to fight like a boy. Oh, pain does not test. So for the man, vulnerability, even if we want to express it, once testosterone kicks in, you are helpless. So it's not like, oh, he's bottled it up, he's man up. The more naturally you have those hormones that mans you up. Even if you want to be soft, you are not going to be able to. So that's one aspect where, if you understand what a man is, should I say it should come with pity? No. Understanding. You understand the man basically because, okay, this man is being driven by forces, that he doesn't have control over. And that's where I come in the first place about nature. The nurture thing, well, there's some parents who, not allow a growing up young man who is growing up into, that's a boy growing up into a man, to hide feelings, express it, we want to hear, say it out, let us understand and all that, But you also understand traditionally, they will tell you, even with the modern world today, apart from the internet that has turned everybody to, saying everything that is in their head, the internet allows you to say everything that's in your head to the world. Traditionally, a lot of these things you have to keep to yourself. You don't, the internet has allowed some form of craze. I could, go on TikTok and ramble for 6 hours a day. Some 10 years, 15 years ago, if you do that, they'll take you to Yaba left. This boy or this girl is having, how can somebody just sit in the living room and mumble for 2 hours, Is he on drugs or, is she on drugs? But today, you could do some crazy things and then, so it's shifting. It's shifting. I don't know if it's for the better or for bad. These things are shifting, and maybe in some years' time, people looking back, would, because I see a lot of videos today where they say, oh, if you didn't make a bicycle yourself, or go in the sand and play, or stay in your neighbor's window to watch television, you missed a lot. Almost every home has a TV now. So talking about traditional masculinity, the men themselves understand that there were some things in those days that hindered, expression. Yeah. Today, things are moving at a fast pace and changing, and the traditional masculinity, the role of men too, is blending with the movement into the modern age.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We need to go on a short break right now. But when we come back, we still want to hear more from you. And even my co-anchors has so many, questions to ask you. To our audiences, if you still have something to say, please go on our YouTube channel right now at Official Upgrade TV and comment what modern or traditional masculinity means to you. Stay with us.
Looking to take your business to the next level through partnerships? Then join us every Thursday at 10 a.m. for Partner Up.
Whether you're an entrepreneur, marketing, sales, or partnership professional, Partner Up is here to give you the tools you need to succeed.
From in-depth interviews with industry experts
To real-world case studies of successful partnership strategies that drive innovation and business growth.
we dive deep into what it takes to form successful partnerships.
Thursdays, 10 a.m.
Don't miss Partner Up.
Welcome back to the show. So right now we're going to be talking about how social issues affect men, what vision we have for a more inclusive and equitable society, and what we as women can contribute to ensure men can freely express themselves in this 2024. But before I go straight into my own question, I will let Omotoshola dive right into our own question for our guests.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taiwa. Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank
I'm here
you.
with you.
So you've explained how a man's entire nature is dependent on nature and nurture. Now I need to understand that in a situation where men, there's like an inbuilt perspective, the society feels they should act this way. Growing up, their parents have told them to act this way. All of these things have now been resting on their shoulders that everything is just too heavy for them to carry. They can't be vulnerable. They can't beg for things. They can't ask to share the rent with their partners. They can't ask to say no to buying this. It's like they must say yes to everything because they are a man. The society feels like they are the sole provider of the house. And now we are in 2024 where the narratives of things are changing. I do not want to talk about the other genders, but narratives of things are changing by the day. What is your definition of the modern day man? And then what exactly is expected from a man? As a man, these are the things. You can be traditional and be modern. I need to help explain the dichotomy between traditional man and the modern man.
Thank you very much. Like I said, there is really no dichotomy. There is the modern man and the traditional man. I'll give you an example. Nigerian men are more traditional than most other African men as of today. Now, how do I come about that? The Nigerian man still wants to pay your bill when he takes you out. Let's leave the UK and Europe and the US, 40 years ago, a lady will still split your bill or pay for your bill if you are out, if you go for a dinner or you go for a movie. 1980s, when I was in the UK, a girl would always have her money when you are going out, Now, worldwide, if you go on the net, you'll see women praising Nigerian men, South African women, Kenyan women, UK, apart from, giving us names like Yoruba demons and all that, there's this belief that, a Nigerian man is somebody you should be with, as a woman. So how, why, it's because we still have those traditional ethos that were, brought up with. It's a lot of burden, I do agree, but everything good, carries its own weight, So if I say, let's go out to dinner, I know I should have my money, for me and you to a limited extent, to my, capability in my hand, before deciding, but modernity has, given women also this say, in where do we go. If I have money for, snacks at an eatery, and you want to go to a five-star hotel, modernity expects, that I, as a man, should be able to tell you. And that's where the issues of vulnerabilities and all that, a man is also brought up to be honest. You don't take all the burden. Traditionally, what you can do is what you do. It's not arrogance. It's not, so a man is asked to cut your coat, according to what your money is supposed to, is able to buy in the market. It's a general thing, but, more emphasis is on the man. You don't go, when you want to marry, you don't marry a woman that's above your status, that is above your income. So at the end of the day, you don't use all the money that you need to. You need to build shelter for your children, even if you don't have mobility, So if you use the money, that you can use to be a man, to use in buying, Brazilian hair and, do nails every week, for your wife, you've actually failed as a man. So those traditional concepts, are positive. To some people, it's negative. Why have they, try to doctor the man not to be able to answer to every one of his partner's wants, But the reason why it can't be so is that man has a traditional purpose, even in modernity, a natural purpose. We are providers, we are, gatekeepers. The female, is a collector.
I'm so sorry to cut you.
The man
I'm so
is a
sorry,
giver.
Mr. Taiwo. But if a man is all of these things, a man is a giver, a man is a provider, a man does this, a man does that, why is it that the same men are not well celebrated? Why is it that when it comes to International Mother's Day, we have 1,001 Mother's Day in a year? But when it comes to Father's Day, we barely see one Father's Day. Even on this International Men's Day, we saw different posts about, thank you for taking care of me. So we still even turned the conversation to be about us and not about them. And I don't understand, because if I am a man, I am doing all of this and I'm not well appreciated by the society, by my own partner, by people around, then why exactly am I a man?
Yeah, it's a burden. You've already mentioned it is a burden, placed on the shoulders of men. Don't complain. It's not that we don't complain. We do. We appreciate, gifts, but not gifts, material gifts. We appreciate that, that feeling of, thankfulness. The more you thank a man, the more he's going to do. So that goes back to socially, that goes back to, Eve, that God has, taken out of our ribs. I mean, I don't see it anywhere in Genesis where Eve actually says, oh, Adam, my darling, I really appreciate that rib that God took from your chest. So it's there, it's been there from, conception, it's been there. And I'll go back to science. I don't know if your media allows, us to go back into sex education. So the man basically ejaculates. Mm-hmm. If a man ejaculates, I've seen figures as much as 200 million sperm cells, in one ejaculation. A woman has only one egg in a month, in their monthly cycle, one egg, so the man has, in an ejaculation, I don't know how many times, each particular man would want to ejaculate in a month. But this means that this is abundance. This is giving in abundance. It's a pointer. That's a basic, form of human life. So if a man at every ejaculation is able to give, 10 million, 20 million, 50, 100 million, and a woman has only one, egg cell, as a receptor, that burden on man to give without being thanked, without being, nobody is saying thank you. A single man can repopulate the whole world.
True.
A single man. In a month, we are about 8 billion now, 7 point something billion. A single man in a month can repopulate the whole world. Why did God do it that way? It's not, and it's not just man, it's every animal that's on the surface of this earth. So that burden, will we be able to remove it? I think what men need to do, is accept whatever, the nature and nurture has put on their laps, as a given. If it's not that way, we are turning the world upside down. When you turn the world upside down, the repercussions would, in the US, there is all this liberal thing, Canada, where a child will wake up and say, oh, I'm not a boy again, I'm a girl.
Identify as a girl.
Yeah, and state money will be used to try and turn that child, that boy into a girl or a girl into a boy. That's turning nature upside down, and what they want to do, is remove gender affirmation. There are many, like I said, there will be a lot of boys born with a lot of estrogen in their system, not as much as, testosterone. Nurture should be able to, bring them up in a way that they still affirm their manhood. There are a lot of girls that will have a lot of testosterone, how they will say she's a tomboy, girl, So nurture is what should be able to affirm, that child's femalehood. But when we now put everything on science, because a female is bringing out beard, traditionally doesn't mean that, she needs to go do sex operations and,
become a man
and take off the breast, So we need understanding. A lot of people need understanding. They need to, listen to broadcasts like this so that everybody can sit back, look inward, and think of the best for themselves and for everybody.
Hello, sir. I really want you to quickly, because we're running out of time, I really want you to talk about social issues relating to men. We've seen so many cases where I think statistically men commit more suicide than women. Why is that the case? I know you have mentioned about the pressure, the burden, men should accept this, but in so many cases, the kind of insults, the kind of environment that they grow up, the kind of experiences that they have always tend to define what they become, and sometimes even lead to suicide when they feel like they are not doing enough, they can't provide enough. How do we address these issues, and what can we do better for men so that we don't have these kind of cases keep increasing by the day, knowing fully well that now in Nigeria, the fact that everybody experiences so many things, women want to quickly get married so that the man can take over the things like house rent, food money, feeding, school, all of that stuff, lifestyle. So how do we address these things, and what else do we need to do to be able to change this norm, or at least adapt properly to the norm?
Well, the numbers in terms of suicide, if a particular, gender is more prone to violence because of testosterone, if they can do violence to outsiders, then doing violence to self, is something that one should expect. So, because suicide is actually violence to self.
Yeah.
Then there are issues of, depression, which could be societal. So what we can do to reduce that is to also reduce pressure on the man. Understand that a man is a man. Understand that a man, if you are going out with a beautiful girl and another beautiful girl passes by, there is that tendency naturally to turn your neck. Not because that one person is better than the one that's by your side, but it's just nature. You can't help yourself. Education can help, and willpower and self-control and all that. But how many people are able to use, these innate, powers to be able to overcome some of these social issues? So women folk, should also try, to contribute. I've seen couples, working, and the man still has to put everything on the table. And when you ask the wife or the partner, how about your salary? She will ask him, what concerns you with it? My salary is my salary. I have family, I have brothers, I have, forgetting that, it's good for a woman to look after family, but your basic family, your first family, is that child that you have or you're about to have, the home that you are making or you're about to make. So I think there's a lot of, discussions around these issues, that, has to constantly, be, where we have not even knocked, or scratched the issues, at all. We still need to open them up and see, how the society can help the man, as the man is struggling to help society.
Thank you very much for all the things that you have said, sir. But I wanted to quickly disagree with something that you said, which is if he turns his back to look at a fine lady, does not mean that the person is better. Because I would say that if you turn myself, I would turn to also look at, so that we can both appreciate nature and our natural masculinity. But thank you so much for that. Well, to our audiences, if you enjoyed this conversation, this is the time to follow our YouTube channel right now at Official Upgrade TV. Tomorrow we come with another great conversation. From Mondays to Fridays, we are always talking about something to inspire you to learn from. So please join us. We will see you tomorrow again, same time, same station. Goodbye.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?